Can you hear me? Nice. So my name is Sam. I am contributor to Lido protocol and one of the co-authors of the dual governance proposal. So today we'll talk about the proposal. So we start with the question of why we need this complex thing. Then we'll explain what it is, what is the mechanism, using several simple scenarios. Then we'll discuss how it improves the current situation, and finish with open questions and next steps. So the main thing is that the Lido DAO is governed, Lido protocol is governed by the DAO. And the DAO uses LDO token for voting. And the fully diluted valuation of this token is currently a little bit more than $2 billion. But the total value locked in the protocol, which is ETH of the users, is more than 18 billion. Given that you only need at most half of the Lido LDO token to push any decision, including stealing of users' ETH, this creates a possibility for a governance attack. It's given that you cannot purchase so much LDO using the spot price, but still it's a really scary situation, especially considering that one cannot buy LDO, but they can bribe LDO holders, or they can, for example, borrow LDO. So yeah. This is an explicit attack scenario, like the doomsday scenario, but also there are other cases of misalignment between the DAO and the users, where DAO can vote for some change that is not aligned with the users' interests or values. For example, they can increase fees or centralize validator set for, I don't know, to fulfill some government order or anything. So this can be generalized as a principal agent problem, where principal is the users, and the agent is the DAO. So this is the first why we need dual governance. The second why is that we can improve, what can be improved is that currently users have no say in the Lido governance, in the protocol governance. And this increases the chance of the principal agent problem manifesting. And finally, there is foot voting, which is the most efficient type of voting. Why I think so? Because foot voting doesn't require any coordination. So any other forms of, most other forms of voting do require coordination. But foot voting, you can do it on your own without coordinating with any other actors. So you just say, okay, this staking provider doesn't match my values anymore. I will go to some other better staking provider, which is really good. It enables the fully open staking market. The issue with this form of voting currently is that it only works in the cases of mild misalignment or gradual misalignment, where users outflow gradually from the protocol. If there isn't a governance attack, or I don't know, the governance proposes some really crazy thing, for example, removing all node operators and leaving just one, there will be a lot of a huge outflow of users. And this might lead to the situation where users don't have the time to exit the protocol before the governance execution time lock is elapsed. Why so? Because Ethereum has withdrawal queue, which has a limited throughput, and also users might have their staked ETH locked in DeFi or CeFi services, which is really situation of a high probability, because people usually hold LSTs to use this capital in some other forms of economical activities. So yeah, and this is the third why. So the if we could improve the safety of foot voting, it will be great. So and now we come to the dual governance. So dual governance is an idea that we can have a dynamic user-induced time lock on DAO decisions. At the same time, it is also a negotiation vehicle between users and the DAO, allowing them to, if, for example, if the DAO changed their mind, it allows the de-escalation of the situation. And finally, it's a rage quit mechanism. In the case where negotiation didn't yield anything, then users can exit the protocol with the guarantee that they are not subject to the DAO governance until they finish their exit to ETH. So, but let's start with the life cycle of the governance proposal in the most happy scenario, and this is how it happens currently. So the proposal is submitted by some LDO holder. Then DAO votes. DAO has a voting between all LDO holders. If it reaches the quorum and the required support, then the proposal is approved. Then there is an execution time lock. And after it elapses, the proposal can be executed by anyone permissionlessly. So what dual governance adds? The dual governance adds the ability for users, for stakers, to credibly signal their willingness to exit the protocol due to the disagreement with some DAO decision, with basically any DAO decision. So they do this by locking their staked ETH tokens into a special smart contract, which we will call Vita escrow. When this happens, DAO execution gets blocked, so any pending or new proposals, DAO can vote for them, but DAO cannot execute them. And while users, so this is basically a dynamic time lock mechanism. And the more users join the escrow, the more this time lock gets prolonged. So it allows the really active, honest minority of stakers to notice some change in the governance and start increasing this time lock. So it gradually builds up as more users join. So, but let's now assume that the DAO, for example, there is like a misaligned minority in the DAO, or the DAO changes their mind. If the users have the ability to withdraw from this Vita escrow while the negotiation period is active. Why would they do this? Because the DAO has the ability to actually kill, in this phase, the DAO has the ability to kill all proposals. And it is guaranteed that when this phase ends, no proposals are active and no proposals can be executed, so it has to be a new voting. So if DAO cancels the proposal, the users withdraw from the Vita escrow and the DAO returns to the normal operation. If the DAO decides to submit some harmful proposal once again, users can repeat this cycle. So this is like happy path. But there is also an unhappy path, which is actually also nice. It's not like it's not a bad thing that this can happen. If the DAO doesn't cooperate, when the negotiation period elapses, all staked ETH that is in the escrow, it gets automatically withdrawn to ETH. And while this withdrawal is in progress, the DAO has no ability to execute anything. So the users who are, we call this rage quit, the users who are participating in this rage quit, they're guaranteed to be to not be subject to any governance decisions, including the pending ones. And after they exit, the DAO execution gets imposed, and this controversial proposal is executed. If while this process is happening, new users who haven't noticed the proposal notice that, they can at the same time simultaneously build up another Vita cycle and repeat once again. So it's not only first who noticed this proposal, they are able to withdraw. If sufficient amount of staked ETH notices this while this is happening, they can exit as well, just on the next cycle. Yeah, so these were two scenarios. Actually, there are more governance states. I won't go into the deep detail, but mostly they are needed first to reduce information asymmetry. so that all participants have clear understanding what will happen next. And also it prevents some attacks on the governance that this mechanism might otherwise create. So let's now discuss how it actually improves things. Let's start with the principal agent problem. It is improved by the mere presence of this mechanism, because the DAO now would think twice before proposing something controversial, because users can actually block this proposal or leave. It also disincentivizes the attacks, because now you cannot just steal the protocol TVL, for example, by buying LDO, because the users will leave before you are able to execute your malicious change. The problems is that it really improves, but not fully improves the situation, because not all users are active. So there are passive holders that don't pay attention to anything. There are stake teeth locked in custodies where it cannot be moved out quickly. And DeFi protocols, lending markets, you name it, L2s. And passive users are not protected. So there is no mechanism like global settlement where the protocol is basically destroyed, paying all the debt. At least there is no such a mechanism, at least in the current version of the proposal. For user voting, since users can creatively express their intent to leave the protocol as a disagreement with the DAO, and since the mechanism supports de-escalation, it gives users leverage in negotiating with the DAO. So now they can, the outcome of the process, it depends on the actions of both DAO and the users. So users have more say in the governance, but still they cannot propose changes. So it's not full-blown dual token governance. And for the foot voting, the obvious improvement is that users who foot vote, they are now guaranteed to do this safely, even if the outflow is massive, outflow from the protocol. The things that can still be improved here is that currently there is no triggerable exits supported by Ethereum. So users have to trust node operators that they actually exit their validators. This will change, I think either before or it will be almost simultaneous change with the deployment of the dual governance. So it will be here by the time it's deployed. Oracle currently is not trustless. So Lido uses Oracle to pass information from beacon chain to execution layer. And it is a committee that is elected by the DAO. And users have to trust this committee to actually initiate these exits. Node operators can do this on their own if they notice, for example, that the committee is malicious. But still, it's a level of trust. It will be improved by incorporating the zero-knowledge Oracle. But it's still in works. It's not yet implemented. Now let's discuss open questions and next steps. But let's start with several obvious questions. For example, I get a lot of these. Why, if we are why we need to introduce such a complex mechanism when you can just have some committee that will be elected by the DAO or the users or some other mechanism that will vote to veto malicious proposals. The thing is that the most important thing here is that this creates another principal agent problem. But agent in this case is the committee, and it is not guaranteed to be incentives aligned with or values aligned with the users. So now this committee decides what is good for users, what is bad for users, and users have to trust that if there is some change in the protocol that are like that doesn't align with their values, the committee will notice that and block these proposals. But this is not how the things work. Like you cannot have the committee that will be aligned with each of the users. This is like the first thing, and the second thing is that this committee has to react to governance changes while the execution time lock is active. It means that we cannot build this committee to be really sturdy. For example, we cannot have a DAO of DAOs and client teams and, I don't know, a social layer so that they all vote to veto. They won't be able to do this in time. It might require 3-4 months or even, I don't know, half a year. Second thing, why we cannot have just time lock on all governance decisions, so the users are guaranteed to exit within this time lock. It's because this time lock has to be either extremely long to incorporate any potential withdrawal queue, or it has to look somehow, there should be some oracle that looks at the withdrawal queue size. Either way, it really reduces the efficiency of governance, because either it has to wait really long until any change can be executed. And for example, in the case of some, I don't know, vulnerability, it might be a really critical thing. And the second thing is, the wait time will be unpredictable and dependent on some exogenous factors like the withdrawal queue size. And also, very importantly, time lock doesn't give users any negotiation power. So it just allows them to leave, and it improves foot voting, but it doesn't improve the principal agent problem, and it doesn't improve on the user alignment. And the third option is full-blown stake teeth voting, where stake teeth can either participate in the governance, or maybe stake teeth can stakers can choose the validators or the node operators that they want to delegate to. The problem with that is that LST holders don't hold LST for participation in the governance. So they hold LST for yield and optionality. And we cannot expect users to actively participate in the governance. It won't work. And if we allow them to select node operators, there are lots of examples, basically any distributed delegated proof-of-stake system. If you look at this, the distribution of stake between node operators, it gets really centralized, because users are really bad at assessing risk. Users are good at assessing yield, but people generally are bad at assessing risk. So they will just deposit to the most profitable, most known and large operators, and we will end up with much worse distribution of stake. That said, there are ways of introduce stake teeth voting, but all of them are really complex, and it doesn't fit any realistic timelines right now. So. And the open questions, there are a few of them. Let's start with the parameter selections L2s, because they are a little bit easier to explain. Parameter selection, we saw the dual governance system. It's a pretty complex one. It has lots of parameters, several thresholds that activate this negotiation period and rage quit, timeouts and all that. And modeling all of these parameters and possible scenarios, attack scenarios, it really requires a lot of effort, and this is still an ongoing thing, so it's work in progress. Another open question is what to do with L2s, because stake teeth locked in L2s, it can't participate, easily participate in the dual governance. So we either have to trust the governance of the L2s, so to make them the agent of the users, or maybe it's possible to deploy some, I don't know, governance gadgets to these L2s, so users can participate right from L2. But it won't be included in the first dual governance iterations, because it takes a lot of time. And like the final one, the tiebreaker committee, it's like a hard thing. Like Lido has a thing that is called the Gate Seal Committee. It is a committee that has the power of pausing withdrawals in the case some vulnerability is discovered to stop the theft of ETH. And while the rage quit is happening, if Gate Seal triggers the pause of withdrawals, it has to last until the governance is unlocked, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Because rage quit can take, I don't know, 2 months. And if this pause lasts, I don't know, 5 days, then the attacker will be able to steal the ETH. So in this case, we come to a deadlock, and there has to be some tiebreaker. And so for this, we propose to introduce a really, really large committee that it is basically a DAO of DAOs, social layer, and maybe all validators that has the ability to actually bypass veto for certain proposals that are approved by DAO. But only in the case where there is a rage quit happening and the Gate Seal committee stopped the withdrawals. It doesn't have to react really, really fast. It can, the reaction time might be even half a year, because everything is paused, withdrawals are paused, and governance is blocked. So there is no urgency apart from the fact that protocol is not working as expected, but it's a doomsday scenario already. So yeah, this is really, really good question, whether can we do without this committee, because committees are bad, even with a very limited power. But we haven't come up with any practical way of avoiding this thing. And the possible next steps, there are lots of them actually, a lot of ideas. So we can allow triggering the negotiation by ETH holders, because they might be more active. We might even allow vetoing governance decision by Ethereum holders supermajority. We can implement delegation of veto power. We can implement full DAO forking, which is a really interesting thing, but we don't have time to discuss it. We need invariant by circuit breaker instead of the Gate Seal committee. And there is an idea of DAO voter bonding, which basically increases the skin in the game for the governance. All of these ideas are listed in the proposal with more details. So yeah, please, if you're interested, take a look. So that's it. So we really, really, really appreciate any feedback. The proposal is still not finished. So if you have any opinions, ideas, improvements possible, please reach to us. There is a thread on the governance forum, and you can reach out directly to me or any of the proposal co-authors. So we will be really, really, really happy to collaborate. Thank you.